Jane grew up in a tiny, struggling village in Siaya. Her mother, Mama Achieng, sold vegetables by the roadside and sometimes came home with nothing but hope. Jane hated everything about her life: the leaking roof, the torn school uniform, and a way other kids joked about her poverty. One day, after graduation, Jane told her mother she would never live like a village sufferer again. She vowed to join the high-class lifestyle she admired on Instagram. Her mother begged her to stay humble, but Jane had already packed her dreams into a small bag and walked away. When Jane arrived in Nairobi, she felt like she had entered another planet. The tall buildings, the bright night lights, and the expensive cars made her believe she had finally escaped poverty. She changed her look, copied influencers, and introduced herself as Janelle, pretending her life had always been luxurious. But life in the city was expensive. She couldn't afford the lifestyle she pretended to have. Still, she refused to look poor. She joined new friends who taught her how to appear rich even without money. Slowly, she drifted into a world full of secrets. Jane's new friends adored her beauty and confidence. They took her to fancy restaurants, loud nightclubs, and photo shoot spots for social media. Jane felt like she finally belonged to the world of high heels and champagne bottles. But she didn't know those friends were using her. They borrowed her things, promised her big opportunities, and laughed behind her back. Her life looked shiny on Instagram, but in reality, her wallet was empty and her soul was tired. To maintain her status, Jane started lying. She created fake stories about her mansion, her imaginary rich boyfriend, and her businesses. People believed her lies, and the more they believed, the deeper she sank into the world of pretense. But deep inside, she knew the truth was following her like a shadow. Every time she looked in the mirror, she saw fear staring back. Her heart beat fast with the worry that one day her real life would be exposed. One night, her friends introduced her to a mysterious wealthy man who offered her a life of luxury. "You want comfort? Just follow my rules," he said with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Jane hesitated, but the smell of money drowned her instincts. She walked out with him, leaving behind her conscience. As she entered his expensive car, she didn't notice Mama Cheng's old phone buzzing with a message she would never answer. At first, life with the man felt like a dream. She slept in soft beds, wore expensive clothes, and ate food she could not pronounce. She posted photos online, pretending the wealth was hers. People envied her. Even her old classmates whispered her name in admiration. But soon, the man's kindness faded. He controlled where she went, who she talked to, and when she slept. Jane realized she was not living, not really. She was trapped inside a golden cage with invisible bars. One evening, the man got angry because Jane refused one of his demands. He shouted at her, reminding her she was nothing without him. For the first time, she saw the monster behind the money. Jane ran out of the house, barefoot and shaking. She had no phone, no bag, no pride left. The city lights looked brighter than her future. She realized she had lost herself chasing a life that was never hers. With no place to sleep, Jane remembered the only home she ever had, her mother's warm arms. She walked for hours and finally took a bus to the village. She felt like a failure as she stepped onto the familiar red soil she once hated. Mama Achieng saw her daughter at the gate and started crying. She held Jane tight, not asking any questions. That embrace broke her heart. She realized she had been running from the only place where she was truly loved. Uncle Odhiambo sat Jane down under the mango tree and listened silently as she cried her story. When she finished, he smiled softly and said, "Child, a person who forgets their roots walks blind." He told her that real success was not about shoes, makeup, or expensive restaurants. It was about character, wisdom, and the courage to build your life step by step. His words sank deep into Jane's heart like rain on dry soil. Jane stayed in the village for weeks, helping her mother at the small vegetable stall. For the first time in her life, she felt peace. She realized she didn't need to pretend anymore. Her story, her struggle, and her roots were her real beauty. Months later, Jane started a small business using the little savings she had. It grew slowly but honestly. She became an inspiration to village girls, teaching them that true class comes from dignity, not borrowed lifestyles. And every day, she thanked God for allowing her to come home before it was too late. You can rise in life, but never forget where you came from. Pride can make you lose your way, but humility will always bring you home.